Encanto is the best Disney animated film since Frozen. Encanto is the best Disney animated film since Frozen. We already know that Walt Disney Animation's Encanto will probably be turned into a Broadway musical at some point. But watching the early scenes in Jared Bush and Byron Howard's film, you might find yourself wondering whether that Broadway show already exists. Everything from the sets to the dance numbers feels like it must have originated on a stage. When characters sing, they sing to the camera, frontal, direct, with big gestures seemingly intended for a live audience. The central setting, a sentient house where the floorboards and roof tiles and staircases and window shutters magically throb and flutter and flap about on their own, feels ready-made for some crafty production designer to work their mechanical theater wizardry. We can even hear the actors taking a breath before belting out passages from one of composer Lin-Manuel Miranda's original cast album friendly tunes. There's an eager-to-please-ness to the first half of Encanto that feels odd, maybe even off, a theater kid energy that can at times be overbearing and artificial. Then, something startling happens. The film and its aesthetic open up. The performances become more unhinged and unpredictable, and the camera work begins to defy gravity and logic. And we realize that the performative, Broadway-bound quality of the film's earlier scenes was intentional. To some extent, the characters were performing, trying to keep up appearances. Encanto follows a Colombian family named Madrigal, each of whose members possesses a unique magic power, the result of a miracle bestowed on the matriarch Alma A. Abuela, voiced by Maria Cecilia Botero, after an early tragedy in her life. When he or she comes of age, each family member passes through a ceremony to discover their gift. There's Brawny Luisa Jessica Darrow, who possesses superhuman strength. Emotional Peppa Carolina Gaitan, who can control the weather. Princess Y Beauty Isabella Diane Guerrero, who can summon mountains of flowers at will. Sensible Julieta Angie Cepeda, who can apparently heal anything with her cooking. Everyone lives together happily in the family's magical house, La Casita, each given a room that opens up onto a world in which they can freely exercise their powers. All except young Mirabel, voiced by Stephanie Beatriz, who went through the usual initiation ceremony only to discover that she wasn't gifted with any special powers. She's still traumatized by the experience, even though she tries to paint a brave face on it. Maybe your gift is being in denial, one kid quips. She can tell that she disappointed Abuela, and in a relentlessly perfect family bound so tightly to tradition, her ordinariness feels like more than just a fluke. It might even be a threat. For the Madrigals, magic is not just a handy ability but also a source of community and continuity, the very thing that has kept them going for so long. What's more, they're constantly reminded that the village that's been built around their wondrous casita also relies on their powers. Needless to say, there will be a place for Mirabel. This is Disney, after all, and they don't make movies about unspecial people, and we begin to suspect that there's more to her story when she senses the house starting to spring cracks and some others' powers flickering. When she tries to warn everyone, they assume she's jealous, or hysterical, or both. I won't spoil what happens next, but it's worth noting that Mirabel's journey is a surprisingly intimate one, and on her emotional quest, she doesn't stray too far from the place of wonder where her family lives. That in turn places a lot of weight on the film's visual and musical strategies. Miranda's songs are typically catchy and clever, and unostentatiously varied. They dabble in hip-hop, pop, salsa, acoustic ballads, and more, with though